What's up, my beautiful badasses? Welcome back to JKN Solutions, where we cut through the fluff and get straight to the good stuff. Oh, that's good. I like it. I'm JKN. I'm your funnel badass, and if you're here, you're probably already thinking about automating your business. Maybe you've already started. Either way, this is where you want to be. So, today we're tackling something super important that can either make or break your automation success. The 5 mistakes you need to avoid when scaling your business. So, here are the things. Automation is amazing. It's done right. It's going to save you time. It cuts down on human error and lets you scale without losing your sanity. But when it's done wrong, automation can feel like you're throwing a wrench into your own machine. Trust me, I've seen it all. So stick around because I'm about to save you from some serious headaches. Serious. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've wanted to bang my head against a wall. So let's dive into mistake number 1, automating too early. So I know I talk about it all the time, so I know automation sounds super exciting, and it is, and it's tempting to jump in right away. But you hear all these stories about how businesses saved hours every week by automating, and then you think, oh, I need that. I could totally do that. Here's the thing though, if you automate too soon before you fully understand your process, it's a recipe for complete chaos. More chaos than what you already have. Let me paint a picture. Imagine automating your onboarding sequence, but you haven't ironed out all the kinks. Maybe you're still tweaking on how to handle new leads. Maybe you don't know how to respond to inquiries. If you try to automate while you're still figuring out your system, you're going to end up with automating inefficiencies or even worse, mistakes. I don't know about you, but I am more embarrassed by the mistakes than by the holes in the system. So keep that in mind. Before you automate, you need a solid grasp of your workflows. Map them out, test them, make sure they work manually before you start to automate anything. Master the process, then hand it over to the robots. Mistake number 2. This is another big one. Don't overcomplicate. I get how exciting it is. You want to automate everything all at once. But let me tell you, this is where people get into trouble. They set up complex automations with 15 different triggers, 7 different conditions, 10 different pathways. It gets really messy really quick, especially if this is something that's new to you. So I talk about all of the cool things that I'm able to build into automations. I was not able to do that overnight, friends. And I do not want you to try and do it overnight because it's going to turn into a big mess and you are going to hate it. You're not going to feel like it's doing anything for you. And that is exactly what we want to avoid. The truth is, automation doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. In fact, the simpler the better, especially in the beginning. So start with the basics. Automate a simple email sequence, schedule social media posts, set up autoresponders. These are the things that you can start in the beginning. Overcomplicating often leads to frustration when something goes wrong and you can't figure out where the breakdown happened, which is super simple to not be able to figure out. And I probably don't have to tell you that. If you've created any kind of automation that broke, tracking down the break can be really hard. So keep your automations clean and simple, then layer on complexity as your business grows and you need change. You need to change something. Also, make sure that you have somebody like me in your back pocket who can go find those breaks, who can figure out why something isn't working, because that's a game changer. Mistake number 3, choosing the wrong tools. I've seen so many businesses get caught up in the hype of the latest it tool. And just because some guru on Instagram swears by a particular software, it doesn't mean it's the right tool for you or your business. You have to choose tools that actually meet your needs, not just this shiniest option. Okay. I sing the highest praises for high level all day, every day. But I know that there are plenty of people, even watching this, that high level is not a good fit for where they are today. And I won't sell it to them for that very reason. So here's what you should look for in an automation tool. 1, does it integrate with the tools you already use? If it doesn't, you're going to spend a lot of time patching things together with very little support to figure out why it's not working. And what I mean by that, I know that you're going to not have support because the second that you try to integrate 2 platforms together and something isn't working right, You're going to reach out to the first support team and they're going to say, oh no, the problem is on the second support team. It's their thing. You need to talk to them to figure it. And then you're going to reach out to that support team and they're going to say, oh no, it's not our problem. It's XYZ with the first platform. And the truth of it is that once you start trying to get platforms to talk to each other and to integrate, the support teams don't know how to make it work. They have no idea. They're not going to be able to even point you in the right direction. So you have to keep that in mind. The more platforms that you try to connect, the harder it's going to be for things to work. Another thing you need to consider, is it user friendly? You don't want to spend more time learning the tool than it takes to do the task manually. Let me say that again. You don't want to spend more time learning more time than it takes to do the task. Okay? Does it scale with your business? As your business grows, you need tools that can handle the complexity. That means take time to do your research. Most automation platforms have free trials or demos, and I recommend always trying them out, right? Try before you buy. Get in there, play around, see if it's going to do what you want, see if it works. Don't get distracted by all the bells and whistles. Focus on what will actually help your business run smoother. And this is a hill that I will die on until I take my last breath. But even though I want you to save money, and I know, especially if you're new in the business space, you don't have a lot of funds to throw into your marketing or to automations and all of the things, using all of the free tools that you can is not a good strategy if you ever want to scale in the future. And that goes back to what I was just saying. The more platforms that you're trying to get to integrate with each other and to talk to each other, the less you're going to be able to make it work, the less you'll know how to make them work together, the less support you're going to be able to get, and you're going to end up you're going to spend more time and more money because then you have to use more tools to make the two platforms work together. You don't want to do this. I promise you, if you hear me say nothing else, free is not always the best option here, okay? Let's jump into mistake number 4. Not testing. I don't struggle with not testing. I test. But this one's a killer because it's so easy to overlook and even easier to do wrong. Test. If you set up an automation and you feel really good about it, you click live, and then guess what? You hear crickets. Or worse, something breaks, customers are getting the wrong emails, tasks are being triggered. It's a complete nightmare. And this is why testing is crucial. You wouldn't launch a brand new product without testing it first. So would you launch an automation without testing? Before you roll anything out, run it through different scenarios. Try what happens if they buy this, but they don't get the upgrade. What happens if they somehow sign up for the free thing, or they come back in through an email and then they take the paid offer? You have to test everything. You have to make sure that your triggers fire as expected. You have to make sure your emails are delivered correctly and timely. If you have multiple emails in your sequence, you certainly don't want them to get all 4 emails at the exact same time that they purchased the thing, right? That's an easy one to make happen because we're not testing. We don't know what to expect. At the very, very least, make sure your final test is in incognito mode to make sure that the automations really work the way that you think that they do, because this is how you will experience what your end user is going to see. And that, my friends, is way more important than what you will see, okay? So remember, testing isn't one and done. You have to keep up with them. Tools change, updates happen. Just last week, I realized I had a very big workflow that what does it have? It has 16 emails in it, and each email is redelivered 3 times based on whether they open it or not. Basically, that's the easy way to put it. And there were updates made to the platform, and my emails were not being delivered correctly. So I had to go back through. I had to test all of the workflow. I had to find where the things needed to be fixed because of the updates to make it work properly. This happens all the time, and you may not even know it. So make a habit to test your workflows regularly, especially after you make adjustments. Last but definitely not least, mistake number 5 is ignoring the human touch points. This is the part that we as consumers crave, right? Just because you can automate everything doesn't mean that you should. Some parts of your business still need the human touch. Your people need to know that you are still there and that you're not just a robot. Automation is meant to enhance customer experience, not replace it. So, for example, automating a welcome email is great, but what happens after that? If your customers need support or have a question, don't make them jump through a gajillion hoops, just to talk to a real person. And when it comes to important moments like closing a deal or resolving an issue, the personal connection can make all the difference in whether or not they're satisfied or they walk away angry. Okay? Balance your automation with personal interaction. Use the automation to handle routine, repetitive stuff, but make sure that there are human touch points where it matters most. Okay? You want to make sure that your customers always feel heard. And that's it, friends. Those are my top 5 automation mistakes that you need to avoid when scaling your business. If you can sidestep these pitfalls, you'll be well on your way to setting up systems that work instead of giving you headaches. If you found this live video or the YouTube helpful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube for more tips on how to scale your business the smart way. And again, whether you're watching the live or on YouTube, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your automation journey and what's working for you. So go crush your automations, and I'll catch you the next time.